It's time for Book Show with your host, the irascible yet easily influenced Danny Marks. Hit it, Danny! Yeah, it's Book Show. I have to do one. I can't put it off any longer. I hate not having books to show you while I'm talking about them, so I checked them out from the library a month and a half ago. They're still sitting here. They're overdue. I've leveraged my author cred as far as I can go. I'm definitely going to end up paying fees on this shit. So let's get going. This month I'm going to talk about a nonfiction book, a graphic novel, a YA book that you're definitely going to have to put on your pre-order or to be read list, a very adult fiction book, and there's this. You might have noticed the slimy herds of mermaids sloshing out of New York Harbor and into the city's publishing houses. There are no less than 6 books, if I'm counting correctly. There's probably many more than that currently for young adults alone. And 2 of the authors of said books are here to describe why their mermaids are the most awesome. Zoraida Cordova, author of The Vicious Deep, and Anne Brown, author of Lies Beneath. Take it away, ladies, but please refrain from being too salty.
1, he's just a cool guy. He is a lifeguard. You just notice him from the bat because he's so striking. But you know what? There are plenty of cute guys all over the world. Tristan's like Shrek. He has mad layers all over the place. If Tristan went to Hogwarts, he would be sorted into Gryffindor. Tristan's favorite foods are bacon, meat, and cereal, especially Captain Crunch. Tristan has a big blue merman tail. Tristan would never leave one of his friends behind. Tristan's not afraid to go out of his comfort zone, because guess what? You're a merman. You have to be out of your comfort zone. According to page 327 of The Vicious Deep, and I'm not telling you to skip ahead, but Tristan is a very good kisser. Tristan likes taking bubble baths, but don't tell anyone because it might ruin his reputation. Tristan is also the captain of the swim team. He is very good at bringing his teammates together and working with others. And in the face of adversity, in The Vicious Deep, he's never afraid to ask for help. In the end, I love Tristan Hart. You should love Tristan Hart. We should love Tristan Hart so hard. Okay. Bye, guys.
Tell us about the matchup, Coach.
Well, originally we planned to put Calder in the ring.
He's strong and deceptive, but he's turned into more of a lover than a fighter.
So, do you have a plan B?
Plan B are Calder's mermaid sisters, Maris, Pavati, and Tallulah. I've had them out training in Lake Superior, taking kids down. Record's pretty good. Plus, the 3 of them have a combined weight of 315.
It's probably not fair putting all 3 of them up against Tristan Hart, but then again, they've never been known for fighting fair.
But don't take their word for it. They're just the authors. Decide for yourself by checking out Lies Beneath by Anne Brown and The Vicious Deep by Zoraida Cordova on shelves now. It would come as no surprise if I told you that I love things to be a little bit weird and unusual in my reading. And that extends to my graphic novel tastes. I'm in love pretty much with Lock and Key series by Joe Hill. The art's by Gabriel Rodriguez. And this is volume 3. It's called Crown of Shadows. And it's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Every time I try to guess what the keys are going to open next, it just surprises me. And a little background. The Locke family has suffered a tragedy. Their father was killed in this horrible home invasion scenario, and they ended up having to move to his family home somewhere. It's on an island. It seems very isolated and cut off. And the house is full of little locks and keys, and the keys open some of the weirdest things, like your brain pan and stuff like that. In this episode, the key creates a crown. There is another key that makes someone a giant. It's pretty exciting. And it would have made an awesome TV show. In fact, it was filmed. The pilot was filmed. The trailer was shown at Comic-Con. Everyone got super excited. And Fox said, "No, let's put on something that everyone's seen before and we'll cancel in 3 weeks." So yeah, I can't recommend this series enough. I give Lock and Key Volume 3 Crown of Shadows 5 transgendered villains. Because it's in there. Every once in a while, it's important for an author who's writing within a genre to take a deeper look at what the genre is about. And that's why I read actually I listened to on audiobook, but it's harder to hold an audiobook for you, considering it's on my iPod. Anyway, Stephen King's Danse Macabre is his take on the horror genre from the 50s through the late 70s, early 80s, and he covers radio, television, film, and fiction. So it was a really interesting kind of thing to get my head wrapped around in terms of what was sort of the impetus of horror in those time frames, and what is it really now? Because it's kind of hard to write horror for a generation who was not geared towards being afraid of everything. Despite how thin this appears, it is actually quite massive and dense with information. He looks at different books, including Ira Levin's Rosemary's Baby, Anne Rivers Siddon's The House Next Door. And in particular, one that I was interested in was Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes, which plays really heavily into the project I'm working on now. I give Danse Macabre 5 stars, particularly just for Stephen King's absolute insider take on the horror genre. It's fantastic. I don't have anything weird. There's no weird stuff except for 5. Okay, I give it 5 bushy beards. He literally looks like he's about to be taken over by his hair. I haven't read an adult urban fantasy book in a long time, but when I saw the cover of Chuck Wendig's Blackbirds, seen here looking amazing, I had to pick that crap up. And I was really happy I did. It's very dark and acidic. You know what Blackbirds is? It's that 3-day-old coffee that's turned to a bitter syrup in the bottom of your mug and you drink it anyway because you need it. It's like that, particularly after reading a lot of books that tend to be overly nice. And that's just not me. Thank you, Chuck. The dialogue is really gritty and salty and strewn with vulgarity, which I love. Blackbirds is a story of Miriam Black. She can see the way you're gonna die, when you're gonna die, everything just by touching you. And she touches quite a few gentlemen during the course of the book. It's fine. And check out BoozeBookreviews if you haven't. She mixes smart cocktails and reviews books. So she also drinks them. Not the books. Go see. I give Blackbirds by Chuck Wendig 5 hacked off feet. Like as a gift, I would send that. I did send that. Be expecting the box soon, Chuck. And for our last book on Book Show, and following up that totally wholesome review of Blackbirds by Chuck Wendig, I have my class of 2K12 sibling, Gina Rosati, with her book Oracle. It doesn't come out until August 7th, but I can tell you right now, you're going to want to either pre-order it or put it on your Goodreads to be read list. I'll provide some links in the down bar because it is fantastic. It is the story of a girl who can astrally project. That means she can project her consciousness outside of her body. And during one of these trips, something really bad happens and her body gets taken over by a loose spirit. And I mean that both in the sense that this spirit is no longer in its body and that the spirit is loose. In that sense, if you know what I mean. Like that. That's not something I'd heard anyone else talk about, but I actually love the book. And I love Taylor, who is the spirit in question. Both Anna and Ray, who are the protagonist and best friend. And yeah, just there's some great stuff going on. There is a courtroom drama in the middle of all of it, too. It's some fun stuff. I give Gina Rosati's Oracle 5 twinkling celestial bodies. Or something like that. Just look at that cover. Seriously. On the next Book Show, Gabriella stages a coup.